What's up guys, and today we're going to be checking out a brief summary of Lobotomy Corporation so you could go play Library of Ruina. Now, the reason that we're doing this is originally I was going to check out Lobotomy Corporation, actually stream the game. I told you guys about it and everything, and then I'd say about a good 90 to 95% of you guys said, listen, the game is good, but it gets extremely stressful to the point where people are quitting the game, like they quit playing the game and stuff. They've seen multiple people do that on YouTube. It's a thing that commonly happens because the game just gets extremely chaotic and stressful on a whole nother level. So I'm like, okay, so you guys instead suggested we should check out Library of Ruina. So we'll most likely be streaming that in the foreseeable future, even though I did hear it's a lengthy game, but it might get put into the rotation sooner or later. But first, you guys also said I need to understand what happened in Lobotomy Corporation, or at least have some type of understanding. So hopefully this does help us out here, this video, so that way we're going into the game not completely blind, you know? So there is that. So please be sure to leave a like on Wordsmith vids over here. So we'll leave a like and subscribe to them if you haven't already. Help get them close to 4,000 subscribers. But other than that, obviously, if you enjoy this reaction, like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's check this video out.
Warning, this video will spoil the following for Lobotomy Corporation.
Alright.
This video is for those who want to play Library of Ruina, a card game, without 100% completing an extremely difficult management sim to get all of the context for its story.
Well,
I do recommend
yeah,
at least trying Lobotomy Corporation, as it really is a one-of-a-kind experience. However, if you've gotten this far, I imagine you've either tilted out or have already beaten the game and are just looking for a summary of the extremely scattered plot. If that's the case, watch on.
Alright, here we go.
Welcome to the city. It sucks here. In fact, it sucks so much that it seems like there might be something even worse going on here than normal levels of I just spent an hour on social media and want to unalive myself.
Twitter 101.
One named Carmen and her high-functioning boyfriend A decided to do something about it. They set up a lab in the outskirts of the city, outside of the attention of any of the big spooky corporations that control it, and started researching how to fix everything. They brought in a colorful cast of characters to help, including Elijah, a cute
literally
girl
they all have different hair colors.
Stuff done. Gabriel, a thoughtful, rational young man who also wants to get stuff done, but in a more ordered way. Giovanni, an old friend of Carmen who is mostly just here to make sure she's alright. Michelle, a cute, upbeat girl, always ready with a smile and a supportive word. Enoch and Lisa, two kids found in the outskirts who were brought into the lab so they could be kept safe from the literal cannibalism that happens out there. Collie.
What is up with games that I play and cannibalism? Why is that such a common thing? Like, why? I don't get it. Games that I get into or I play, it's just like, oh yeah, cannibalism. I'm just like, oh. Okay.
A hero of the downtrodden who is easily the most badass motherfucker in this entire list. Daniel, a prodigy who was brought into the project by Carmen. And
I mean, of course, she got red and black.
Friend and right-hand man. The lab was a shockingly nice place full of people who thought they were working on a project to save the world. After a long while, they developed a substance known as Cogito that was capable of manifesting a human's mental state into the physical world. However, they didn't know exactly what it was capable of doing without human testing. Safe to say that no one really wanted to get involved with unlicensed, unregulated human experimentation, at least until Enoch, the boy
rightfully
that came with Lisa, volunteered. Apparently, living in a cannibalistic hellscape makes for a bad mental state, and he really just wanted to die in the one happy place he had ever known, so he didn't really care about the danger. He goes in for the experiment, but despite all expectations, everything goes well. His mental state produces a seed of light, representing the desperate hope he had deep down that everything would go well. Seeing that, he comes to terms with his old desire to die and continues to live for the future. They use
things really changed for a positive note, didn't it? What the hell? That took a turn, but just wait, because it's about to go to hell, isn't it?
Light upon the world, curing it of its perpetual funk.
How nice.
Human lives improve, the world is a brighter place, and a giant library is constructed on the site of the lab where it all happened to serve as a reminder that through knowledge and perseverance, humanity can overcome any hardship.
What a beautiful story. Truly.
Just kidding, Enoch dies in absolute agony. Turns out, Cogito is a horribly corrosive substance when injected into a living being, but it did certainly succeed at manifesting the human subconscious. However, the human mind is a dark place, even darker in the city, and Cogito began manifesting creatures called abnormalities. Abnorms are essentially this universe's version of SCPs. They're a general category of supernatural entity or item. Some are useful, some are horrifying, some are mostly passive, but all of them are dangerous. These
what the hell was that when people down bad?
Generating a potent source of power called encephalion. which meant that in order to generate an actual seed of light, they needed more of them. However, Carmen was one of the nicest people around, so she wouldn't just approve of deadly human experimentation for the sake of her research. However, she's had a bit of a bad time. Carmen is overcome with grief from the fact that she painfully murdered a little boy, made even worse by Lisa cursing her with every single word she spoke. Turns out, Enoch was the only thing keeping Lisa in any kind of normal mental state. Carmen then tries to unalive herself in Minecraft, only if she dies in the game, she dies in real life. A finds her in the bathtub she was playing Minecraft in, and instead of using the crazy advanced tech of the city to save her, he rips her brainstem out and sticks it in a jar.
When... You did what? And yeah, obviously, what? Let me hear that again?
Instead of using the crazy advanced tech of the city to save her, he rips her brainstem out and sticks it in a jar.
Project Moon, brain rot, literally, but okay, that wasn't fun.
Determined to see her reach this through, A decides that no price is too high to get his waifu's wish fulfilled. If you remember my previous comment about A being high-functioning, it's not high-functioning autism, it's sociopathy. A proceeds to continue experimenting with Cogito through a process called extraction. Using the giant tube that Carmen's brainstem has been stored in, they take a subject injected with Cogito and dip them into the ocean of human subconsciousness. Doing this, they are able to create a much wider variety of terrible, dangerous, and encephalian-rich abnormalities.
Wonderful. The more the merrier, right?
Giovanni volunteered himself for Cogito extraction, being convinced by A that it could bring Carmen back. It can't, and A tells him as much while Giovanni dies in the infirmary after the extraction, not even being used for making an abno. Elijah...
Why would you even believe that? Oh my god, you got manipulated into thinking that would work. And, oh, that's awful. That is so bad. Yeah, things go wrong, you don't say. This is terrible.
That it could bring.
Like, and I want to make this very clear. I was well aware that the story for this game would be good. I never doubted that. It's just I did not want to go through that gameplay hell that everybody was talking about, and the fact that so many people were vouching for that it was gonna be like just rough. I didn't want to do it, and it's just the type of gameplay that me personally I'm not into. So that was another thing that came into play. Just so you know.
Carmen back. It can't, and A tells him as much while Giovanni dies in the infirmary after the extraction, not even being used for making an abno. Elijah wanted A to participate more directly instead of hanging back and just watching everything happen. She decided to do just that, taking some Cogito that was definitely not ready to be safely used, and promptly died horribly while begging A to just put a bullet in her.
Oh my god.
When Elijah died, that caused Gabriel to go from a well-meaning but stern man to an obsessive-compulsive madman. He feared chemical exposure at the lab and would scratch at any exposed part of his skin. This eventually killed him, but not until much later. Things came to a head when that sweet little being named Michelle revealed herself as a rat. She made contact with the head, aka the ruling body of the city. They freaked the f*** out and sent one of their biggest and scariest agents in to kill everyone in the lab and stomp out the research. This agent was Garion, an arbiter who is one of the scariest motherfuckers in the entire setting. She single-handedly rolled up to the lab and started decimating everything. She accosted Daniel, who was in charge of the abnos in captivity, and threatened him to let them out or she'd kill him and do it herself. He decided to let them out, but took a bit of time to give the employees and his friends time to escape. This proved to be in vain since they all died horribly anyway. His guilt over this...
So it doesn't matter! Damn! It's funny because when I played Limbus Company, I'm like, man, everybody that I like, they're dying. All these characters that aren't playable, they dying. But these characters over here, everybody's just dying. Everybody! Just left and right. Jeez, playing... No, this would have been just depressing as hell, dude. This would have been the equivalent of me watching Attack on Titan. That's why I stopped watching Attack on Titan. I made it to the final season and the first part of it, and I was done. You know why? Because everybody just... the whole damn show, the whole damn anime, everybody dying, pain, dying. I'm like, bro, listen, I had enough of this, bro. Everybody freaking dying. I had enough of this crap. Oh my god, dude.
Eventually kills him. The abnos proceeded to kill huge swaths of nameless mooks and Lisa, although Kali manages to kill most of the abnos in response. Eventually, Kali met Garion in combat. Garion ripped off Kali's arm, but couldn't kill her before she impaled Garion. With the abnos suppressed and Garion impaled and helpless, A proceeded to torture her and extract her brain. With it, he learned about the inner workings of the head and how he could stay out of their sight. The only way to do so would be to become a wing of the world. Okay, time for some world building. Wings are basically megacorporations that control a district of the city. There are 25 of them, one for each letter of the alphabet except Z, which is represented by the outskirts. They all have a nest, which is the nice section of the city under the direct control of the wing, and a batch the rest of the city where life is a lot harder and significant.
Yeah, I've heard about this before. I've heard about the nest in the back street. Okay, When I was playing Limbus, I heard about that stuff, yeah.
More brutal. They all also own a singularity, some kind of super advanced technology which allows them to produce something that the city needs. To quickly give an example, R-Corp is a wing that you actually come into contact with during Lobotomy Corp. They specialize in extremely powerful mercenary groups. The exact nature of their singularity is unknown, but they're basically the city's military wing. All wings are extremely powerful, capable of mass destruction on a large scale on top of their gargantuan economic might. Due to this, the head can't directly mess with a wing the way they did with the lab, because a conflict between wings would be catastrophic for the city. A decides that the only way he could get access to a wing is to take over one that currently exists. He sets his sight on L-Corp, the power production wing of the city. He and Benjamin make some shady backroom deals with R-Corp to get the support needed to take on a whole wing. Not much is known about the specifics of this conflict, which would be known as the Smoke War, but it's theorized that Benjamin basically said, "Hey R-Corp, we can produce way more power than the current L-Corp. If you help us take over, we'll give you extremely generous contracts so you won't ever have to worry about the power bill again." Presumably R-Corp took this deal and A's group won the war. With the new L-Corp in place, A decided to dub it Lobotomy Corporation, and so the titular organization was formed. However...
I'm sure nothing could go wrong here. Yeah. Face the fear, build the future. Yeah, with you controlling all this after everything that I've seen you do in just about 7 minutes... Hell no.
Organization was formed. However, we missed something important. At some point during these events, it's not clear if it's actually before the war, after it, or even during
it. No, not this song. Oh god, this song starts playing in freaking Limbus when you're freaking going through a mirror dungeon and it's on a creepy part that you have to interact with. Anyway, sorry.
A broke one of the most important rules of the city. You see, while A might have been a sadistic, abusive monster of a man, he still had this pesky thing called an emotional attachment. As such, he was pretty sad that Carmen was gone. He decided to try and recreate her by making an artificial intelligence.
Because that always goes well.
Brainstem and used it as the base for the AI. When this purely mechanical AI opened her eyes, she was designed to be the perfect assistant. She perceived things 1,000 times faster than the average human, so she could react at superhuman speeds, and had perfect recall of everything she witnessed, so she would never forget a detail. She even had complete human emotions, giving her a sense of empathy so she could more properly assist those around her. And the first thing A did when he saw this absolute masterwork of a creation is reject her. She was not
nice.
Carmen. She was some new mechanical thing that looked just enough like Carmen to drive a spike of ice right through A's heart. He didn't even want to name her, but Benjamin convinced him. So, Angela was born. A then proceeded to make a plan to see Carmen's research succeed. The end goal was to make something called a seed of light, charge it with encephalion, and release the light over the world for 7 days, which would cure this mass depression the world was afflicted with. However, making a seed of light would require much work, including a lot of abnormalities. However...
Wait, what are all the steps there? What? Okay, damn, I went back a little bit too much
to make a plan to see Carmen's research succeed. The end goal was to make something called a seed of light, charge it with encephalion, and release the light over the world for 7 days, which would cure this mass depression the world was afflicted with. However, making a seed of light would require much work, including a lot of...
Alright, so, seed of light creation tutorial, immense human suffering. Oh boy. Make lots of abnormalities. Okay, yeah, because that's a great idea. Make, okay, Fallon... Or Fallon, however you want to say that. Okay, 4, we don't know. 5, profit. And then 6, turn off Angela. Okay.
Abnormalities. However, abnormalities are dangerous to contain, and the chances of actually succeeding at generating that much power were nearly impossible. So, utilizing advanced technology, A set up a 50-day time loop. This would allow him effectively infinite resources to throw at the problem and infinite chances to get things right. But it wasn't as easy as just setting up the time loop. No, A wrote a script for this play that he was putting on. There were steps that would be followed, events that had to happen, and goals that must be met in order to ensure that the seed of light was properly raised. Part of this was the creation of the Sapphira, semi-artificial intelligences that would each control one of the 9 departments in Lobotomy Corporation. I say semi-artificial because they're not completely mechanical like Angela. They are instead the brains of the previously dead characters we've talked about thus far, all stuck into robotic bodies with most of their memories suppressed. Next.
Oh, that's messed up. They were already done. They are already dead, man. Just the fact that you take this dude, you know, y'all have heard this, let me say this a lot before, where I talk about Hall of Fame menace characters. This dude's, he's there. He's on the list of Hall of Fame menaces. One day, I'll probably drop a random video of me just giving the list of, like, the the most horrific evil characters I've seen in games, you'd be on there. Absolutely be on there. But taking their brains and putting them into the freaking, what is it, the robots? That's what he was saying.
Into robotic bodies with most of their memories suppressed. Next, A decided to use another powerful piece of tech to split himself into 5 different individuals. Abel, Abraham, Adam, Ayan, and X. X would be a mind-wiped version of A, who would serve as the director of the facility during the play, and also as the character that the player controls during the game. Abel, Abram, and Adam would serve as the final challenges for X to see if A could overcome his own personal demons, with Ayan being the final and true version of A that would then spill the beans about the seed and all of his plans. Each of the challenge A's
so that's the end goal.
A different aspect of his personality. Abel is a sharply dressed man representing his own guilt over the atrocities he's committed while being in charge of the facilities. Abram is his guilt and despair over Carmen's death made manifest, who wants to do nothing but die next to the remains of his beloved. Finally, Adam serves as the final boss of the game and is the perversion of his mind after being exposed to so many abnormalities. With everything in place and Angela at his side, he started the 50-day time loop, and Lobotomy Corporation truly begins.
This game is so the game actually starts. So that was all of the context before you actually really get into this, huh? That's insane. Holy.
Spent uncovering all the craziness we just discussed, but a few important things need to be addressed. B is a faceless person who starts sending you messages not to trust Angela early on. She responds by telling you not to trust B. It turns out B is Benjamin, who gets captured and turned into a Sapphira sometime around day 20. It turns out this was all part of the plan that A made, so he basically sacrificed his gay best friend for the sake of having one more Sapphira to complete his plan with the seed. Also, each of the Sapphira now go by a new name after being shoved into brain-holding claptraps. Elijah is Malkuth, Gabriel is Yesod, Giovanni is Netzach, Michelle is Hod, Enoch and Lisa are Tiphareth A and B, Kali is Geberah, David is Chesed, Benjamin is Hokmah, and Garion is Bina. Each of the Sapphira slowly begins to remember their previous lives over the course of the game. This causes them to inevitably undergo a meltdown, which is a major crisis that you have to adapt to. Afterwards, they each come to terms with the absolute mess their previous lives were, and grow as a person. Each time this happens, the seed of light grows just a bit. Okay, we're gonna rapid fire the character development.
That's messed up, coming to the realization of all that. This game is just evil. Like, this is so much information to take in at once. All I could say is this is just so messed up and just evil, dude. Like, these characters already suffered enough in the first place. And then to be brought into this form, shoving their brains into these freaking robots and crap, and then they start getting a realization of what the hell happened, and then you have to deal with it and just see the mental breakdown of that is awful.
Sapphira, try to keep up, and I'm sorry if I don't do your favorite one justice. This script is long enough as it is. Malkuth reveals that her previous gung-ho attitude was mostly just a facade. She doesn't actually think you can do anything to improve the hellish situation that the facility finds itself in, but after her meltdown is intrigued enough by your tenacity to keep going that she'll continue to support you if nothing more than just to see what happens. Yesod comes to terms with the fact that Elijah died and he can't go back and change that. He also sees the player going through that same process and encourages them to see it through and change for the better despite the pain. Netzach hates his job as a Sapphira, constantly getting drunk and high, doing his best to escape from the cruel reality he has to endure. This climaxes with his attempting to commit suicide, which you prevent because of
Minecraft,
Over time, he comes to terms with this situation, acknowledging that if he can't get out, he might as well hold on to some hope for the future, and stops resenting X for trying to save him. Hod's arc reveals that her bubbly and supportive personality is all a facade to try and make up for the fact that she got everyone killed. She doesn't believe that she's actually awkwardly nice. She thinks that she's just acting to get over her massive guilt. After her meltdown and recovery, she stops denying that she actually feels these positive emotions towards people and starts showing a more genuine form of kindness. The Tiphareths are a bit more complicated. See, they're Enoch and Lisa, both trapped in a hell that neither one of them wishes to endure. Due to Enoch being by far the most deteriorated brain put into a Sapphira, and the fact that he's been denied the death he wanted and actually got, he's extremely unstable. This results in him being deteriorating over time until he eventually cracks and needs to be reset. Tiff's meltdown player no takes these back, he's actually killing Enoch to ensure that he can rest in peace. After Enoch is permakilled, Lisa warms up a bit, now much more amicable after you give Enoch his well-deserved rest. Geberah as a Sapphira...
Dude just wanted to be put out of his misery and was denied that so many times. No, that would have been horrible to watch. That would have been
abnormalities due to the way that she died. She doesn't remember being Kali, hero of the Backstreet. She only remembers that she fights abnormalities. She also gives the player access to the Rabbits, a group of mercenaries from ArcCorp who will go in and kill everything that lives in the department of your choice, at least most of the time.
Nice.
Sometimes even they can't handle the monsters you're trying to kill. Geb's suppression involves fighting her while she's going all out. After that, she regains a lot of her old self, no longer just being a ball of rage and violence, but the same protector that she was before.
Okay, so back to normal.
Make up for his cowardice when he was intimidated by Garion. He comes to terms with it in the end, accepting that while he might not be able to deal with fear in the future, he will at least no longer run away from it. Finally, we have Hokma and Bina. Hokma is the freshly made Sapphire of Benjamin and mostly remembers himself. His arc ends with him once again stating his desire to follow A into the future, maybe less blindly now, but still determined to see things through to the end. Bina is the Arbiter Garion who was sent to kill the entirety of the lab. She naturally doesn't like anyone that much since she was never supposed to be here to begin with. Her suppression results.
She's like, listen, I wasn't even supposed to be involved in this in the first place. I never liked y'all before. I definitely don't like y'all now. Just F all y'all.
Being a fan of most of what's going on, but she's at least going to watch and not turn away from what's happening in the facility. You also have to fight her, and it's easily one of the most difficult brawls in the entire game. As each meltdown happens and is resolved, it becomes more and more apparent that all of this was part of A's play. He wrote happy endings for each of the people in his life that he had wronged, and for himself. X fights against his inner demons of Abel, Abram, and Adam, conquering them and growing as a person himself. This outpouring of character growth combined with the Encephalion causes the seed of light to grow, eventually bursting into a giant explosion of light raining over the entire city when you beat Adam. As the light explodes out of the facility and begins shining over the city, all of the Sapphira meet in the basement where A stands before the Pillar of Light. While they may not love him, they no longer hate him as they did. So they say their farewells as he steps into the light and fades away. So the Sapphira stand there at the end, watching the light wash over the city, covering all things in its warm and hopeful glow. They understand that everything will be alright. Their work is finally done after so much pain and suffering. They'll be deactivated, but the world will turn on without them, a better place.
What? That was a lot.
But that's not where our story ends. He planned for so damn much. Took so many precautions, measures, made everything happen just right, but even he still had a blind spot. See, A forgot someone.
Oh no.
The same person he always forgot.
Angela?
Just as everything looks like it's going to turn out all right, just as the sacrifice and hardships and suffering has finally resulted in the good that everyone had worked towards being done, Angela smiles. She says that A was a fool. He did everything he could to make sure Angela suffered, and just assumed that she was a meek little robot who would do whatever he said. She says that she has suffered more than anyone else, forced to remember the millions of years worth of experiences across an insane number of 50-day time loops, all experienced 1,000 times slower than they actually were.
Losing her freaking mind.
She says that she was never given a chance at life, and now that her commands from A are finished, she can do whatever the fuck she wants to. She wants to live. To see what the world is like beyond the confines of the cells that she's been kept in for her entire existence. She's owed that much by the man who made her and then so callously disregarded her. Damn the price, and damn the world. So she takes the light and hides it away. After 3 days of the light shining on the city, it vanishes, and the world is covered with darkness for 4 days.
So it's basically, they were going to get a happy ending. After all the suffering everybody went through, they were actually going to get the proper ending. And then, since Angela got treated like crap and then had to relive all that crap that happened so many times with that time loop over and over and over again, and it was disregarded by freaking A. Angela was done. She's like, all right, I'm gonna go live now. I'm done with this BS. I'm taking this light. It's over. Have fun, buddy.
Should have fixed everything.
See ya, bozo.
And unstable. This week became known as the White Nights and Dark Days. Angela, now free, turns the facility into a great library. From there, she sets out to collect knowledge about the world, store it, and eventually obtain one singular, perfect book. And that is where our story truly begins. Welcome to the Library of Ruina. May you find your book in this place.
So this is where Angela's Demon Time arc starts. Oh.
Hey, if you want to see how this story continues, I'm streaming Library of Ruina on my Twitch every Wednesday and Friday from 4 to 7 p.m. EST. If you haven't been keeping up, the VODs are on my other channel, Wordsmith Streams. If you'd like to see more edited video content like this, please consider dropping a sub. I plan on making a lot of content for Library and the upcoming Limbus Company game. Thank you again for watching, stay safe out there, and for the love of God, don't press the button!
What the Okay. Round of applause, because I could only imagine how much time it took to make this video. Jesus. Big shout out to you. Like you said, be sure to subscribe to Wordsmith Streams so you can see their VODs. Check out Wordsmith Vids to see their good old lore videos and such. This was so much to process, but I feel like I got an understanding. Like, that was a good video. Like, I really did get an understanding of what the hell happened there. A was on demon time, but in the end was trying to do the right thing for everybody so everybody could get the proper ending and help the world. But the amount of suffering and agony and just crazy unga bunga stuff that happened along the way was ridiculous. And it was just depressing as hell, dude. Like, I feel like I would still put him in, like, the Hall of Fame menace list, honestly. Even though in the end he was doing the right thing to help. But it's just the process. He's like one of those characters that is trying to do the right thing but doesn't care what he has to do it, no matter how much suffering and agony that it takes. So it's one of those, but on a completely different level. And then yeah, you treated Angela like that. Angela had enough. Said, nah. Imagine playing through that whole game just to see Angela at the end be like, hey, you don't get this happy ending. I'm taking this. I'm taking this. This is what you get. Like, Jesus. Yeah, actions have consequences. That's the perfect way to put it. Actions do indeed have consequences. Yeah. So that's what happened there. And like I said, then the Library of Ruina Demon Time arc starts. So yeah, when we do play the game, I guess at least we have a decent understanding of what's going on. I'm sure there's other information that was left out because you can only put so much into a 16-minute video, obviously. But if there's any info from Lobotomy Corporation you want to tell me, let me know. You know, I would appreciate that very, very much. And just know, just in general, like, this just has to do with like YouTube and everything. I see the large majority of y'all's comments. Even if I don't respond to it, I most likely have seen it, and I try to leave like a little like there so you guys know that I at least acknowledge it, because these days we get so many comments and stuff, and some of them are hella long and all that, so I want you to know, I do see them, so don't feel like you're wasting your time or something. So, yeah, even if I can't respond to it, I will like leave a like there, knowing that, letting you know that I read it. But yeah, we do play Limbus on the channel also, if you want to check out the streams there. New update comes out very soon, like on Thursday, Hell's Chicken. So we'll be there for that also. So sooner or later, Library of Ruina. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Discord server description box below if you want to join. We have some different channels in there for like Limbus, Arknights, Genshin, Honkai, just to name a few. And yeah, just appreciate the support, and 8,000 subscribers very, very soon. So until the next one, stay safe, and as always, don't do crack.
Be sure to subscribe to the Special K Experience if you enjoyed this video. If not, you're going to Femboy IHOP.